All right, welcome back. I'm Chelsea, and this is our next I'll be our MC for the next session. Now we'll dive into the world of cryptocurrency with Binance. Join us as Mr. Robert Thompson, an investigation specialist at Binance, presents crypto crime investigation techniques. Learn about the challenges and methods in tackling crypto crimes and offering vital insights for anyone involved in the digital asset space. Mr. Thompson is a cryptocurrency investigator and cybercrime specialist. As a former detective with the Queensland Police, Mr. Thompson brings extensive real-world experience in criminal investigations, specializing in financial and cybercrime. Mr. Thompson moved into the private sector in 2021 as a crypto forensics advisor for leading blockchain and analytics firm Chainalysis, where he conducted blockchain and cryptocurrency training and education for private and public sector clients across Australia and internationally. Mr. Thompson joined Binance in 2023 as an investigations specialist, working closely with law enforcement agencies across the globe to track and trace cryptocurrency. Binance, a global blockchain company behind the world's largest digital asset exchange by trading volume and users, serves a greater mission to accelerate cryptocurrency adoption and increase the freedom of money globally. Mr. Thompson, please.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Yeah, thanks for the introduction. That's exactly who I am. So, my name's Rob Thompson. I work as an investigator for Binance, currently located in just south of Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. So, a little ways away from Singapore. But I basically take care of a fair bit of the APAC region and specifically ANZ, so Australia and New Zealand for Binance crypto investigations is me. With that, I think if it's okay with you, I'll share my screen and I'll jump into a little presentation I've got prepped for everybody. Give me 1 second.
Are you able to share your screen? You've been made co-host.
No, not yet. I think I might have to be. Yeah.
I think we've already made you co-host. Maybe
Oh,
you
you've
can.
made it. Cool. Okay. Yep. One. Okay. Just give me 1 second. There we go.
Great, we can see your screen.
Awesome. Great. Let me just put that into something a little bit bigger for everybody. Awesome. Cool. So, yeah, you already sort of took my shine away from the introduction, but that's me. Yeah. So prior to Binance, I guess by way of just a little bit of background, so you can sort of understand, I guess, how I view things and what I do. So I spent 13 years in the Queensland Police Service as an officer there. So when I started out uniform policing in a patrol car, driving around doing what you would think a normal police officer does. So spent a good few years doing that before moving into plainclothes and detective work. So moved across in there at my detective's appointment. At the same time, went back to university to do my double degree in criminology and cybersecurity. And about that time, 2017, I moved into financial and cybercrime group, which is just a specialist area within policing. So it's like just narrows down your field of view, really. So you can move into a specialist area like cybercrime or perhaps drug trafficking or organized crime, homicide investigations, things like that. So I moved into our cybercrime group. So from 2017 to 2021, basically spent the majority of my time on sort of larger scale frauds, money laundering, any of that cybercrime group as well. So business email compromises, hacks, ransomware attacks, things like that sort of nature. So finished up with the police in 2021 after getting my ethical hacking certification. I went sideways into the private sector working for a company called Chainalysis. You may have heard of them as well. So with Chainalysis, they are basically a software company that has software that enables you to track and trace cryptocurrency transactions, right? So as a part of my work in the cybercrime field, that's when I first came across cryptocurrency straight away in 2017. I'd heard about Bitcoin before that in terms of darknet market sales and things of that nature. But 2017 is when we really jumped into it, started seeing it used for extra things, started seeing crypto native crime like ICO launches and different sort of scams focusing more on cryptocurrency. So spent my years in cybercrime dealing with your traditional crime with cryptocurrency being mixed in, which gave me that background then to be used for Chainalysis. So for Chainalysis, basically I taught people, one, about crypto, what blockchain is, what the tech is, how to track and trace transactions. So as an investigator, really, to cut to the very crux of it, you're looking to track and trace the source and destination of crypto. You want to know where it came from and where it's gone to. So your goal is, if it's to catch a crook, is to find out where their fiat currency entered the blockchain system or the cryptocurrency system, and then where it's exited, right? As great as crypto is, I love it. Cash is still king. And vast majority of crooks across the globe are always looking to cash out their crypto back into some form of fiat currency, right? So we want to see where it goes in and we want to see where it comes out. Now, in between that can be a pretty big, complex sort of space and journey to follow. So that's what I did for Chainalysis, teaching people to use their software and also just the basics of crypto. What is it? What does a transaction look like? How you can follow it on a blockchain, right? Which then led me back into looking more towards back into just, I still do a little bit of training, but back into just the investigative side for Binance. So essentially what I do is work as a law enforcement liaison. So with, it could be law enforcement from all over the globe, but primarily Australia and New Zealand is my focus, but then further into APAC. So Singapore police, Taiwan, Thailand, I'm dealing with the situation with them right now, even through to India, through Europe as well, occasionally as well. But with the time zones, it's generally APAC region for me. So that's essentially what I do now and for Binance. So a part of this presentation today, they just wanted me to sort of talk to you about what I see in this space on a daily basis, right? Because we're going to talk about, I don't really have to worry too much about, whilst I understand trading, I don't have to deal with trading or any of that sort of stuff. I basically look at crime, how to prevent it if we can. If it has occurred, how potentially can we stop it in the future, or also track and trace that currency to see if we can locate an offender at the end of it, right? So currently, from our point of view, the prevailing crypto crimes we're seeing are these three here. Number one by far is still scams, right? And that goes for cybercrime also, not just crypto. So investment scams, romance scams. So whilst it is in the crypto space, investment scams and romance scams are some of the biggest scams across the board, whether it's using crypto or not. So we'll touch on some investment scams shortly, but those are by and large, absolutely the two. In terms of volume, they're the biggest crimes we see, right? That is just rinse and repeat every single day, investment scams and romance scams. To the point now where it's operated like a organized crime model, right? So even your romance scam offenders operating in groups or cells out of different various sort of geolocations around the world. So operating more like organized crime, because they quickly realized the payout for the effort. They are earning quite a bit of funds out of those two sources. The next one is the one that you hear more of, right, is your hacks and stolen funds. So out of those, API hacks and crypto bridge hacks, right, is what the two things you're going to hear the most of when it comes to the crypto space. So when we talk about hacks and stolen funds, so to date, a blockchain has never been breached, right? So nobody has ever breached the Bitcoin blockchain and been able to steal funds from a blockchain. That hasn't happened. What does happen and how they do steal funds is almost exclusively the crypto bridge hack, right? API hacks are another one as well, but crypto bridge one is the one we've seen for the last 12 to 24 months, I would say. So essentially what we're talking about is not a weakness in blockchain per se. What we're talking about is a weakness in smart contracts, right? And how they're written, the code in those smart contracts. Now, if you know anything about crypto, when a smart contract is deployed to a blockchain, that code is law. That smart contract will do exactly as the code tells it to do. So if you haven't written your code well enough, it can be exploited. Someone will find a way to exploit it. So if you're doing anything in the realm of coding in and around smart contracts, the security in and around that is paramount, right? Paramount. So once that contract is deployed, it's deployed. Afterwards, if there is a vulnerability, then you basically scrap that, X that address where that contract is stored, and moved on and redeploy it to another one with the fixes in place. That's another unique thing about crypto too. If I have a vulnerability in source code of my website that I have at an Amazon web server, I can simply log in and change it, right? Hit refresh and it's good to go. It'll update. With a smart contract, once it's deployed to an address, that is there immutable forever, right? It cannot be changed. The only way to change it is to rewrite your contract and deploy it to a new address, and then direct all of your traffic to the new address. So it will then, the old contract, which is now null and void, will still exist at that original address for forever, right? So the blockchain is forever. It's transparent and forever. So those are the two things we see when we talk about stolen funds and hacks. So not stealing from the blockchain per se. We're not breaching addresses. We're not doing that. We're breaching smart contract code. So they're exploiting code. Those two things, scams and the hacks and stolen funds, lead to our next point, right, which is our next sort of prevailing crypto crime. And when we talk about crypto crime as well, I'm at pains to mention this too. The crypto crime, so the percentage of total crypto transactions that are related to illicit funds, the movement of illicit funds, is less than 1%. So despite what some news headlines might say, the actual total in illicit funds moving in and around a blockchain is pretty minute. Like, it's less than 1% of total crypto transactions for the entire globe in comparison to traditional fiat currency, which is still, like I said, crypto is great. Cash is still king. The fiat system is still the preferred method of moving funds around, right? Still the preferred method. Don't get me wrong, crypto can be used for it, but what makes crypto good for money laundering also makes crypto bad for money laundering, which we'll touch on in a second. So now, our money laundering is basically a financial crime enabler, right? It's moving funds and trying to make it look like it's hide the source, right? So that when it comes to the destination at the end, it looks like it's been obtained legally. That's always the go. Now, crypto, what makes crypto good for that is speed, and it's borderless, right? So I can send a transaction from Australia to somebody in Europe or somebody in North America, South America, Africa, between minutes to seconds, with no third party in between. I don't have to use a bank. I don't have to use a clearinghouse. I don't have to use a MoneyGram, anything like that. I can simply send it from one, say just Bitcoin, for example, one Bitcoin address to another, or one Monero address to another, right? So very, very quick and borderless, right? So no third party. Those same things also make it really hard to use, or not hard to use, but bad in terms of money laundering. Speed, as fast as you can move it, I can track it, right? So there's no need for me to have to go through banks, through warrants, through subpoenas. I can track it from country to country because I'm just tracking from address to address. The blockchain doesn't recognize geolocations, right? It's just address to address. So as fast as you can move it is as fast as I can track it. There's no lag time there anymore. So it's good and then also bad. If you're from a crook's point of view, good and bad from the investigator's point of view as well. The thing that makes it the borderless thing and transparency, which is great, is also bad too, right? So borderless for crooks to move their funds, but again, because of the speed and the blockchain doesn't recognize geolocations, I can trace it anywhere I like as well. And then the extra bad point, which is what I still maintain makes money laundering not great for Bitcoin or any crypto, is transparency, right? It's alive on the blockchain forever, in perpetuity. I can track it right now live, or if needs be, I can go backwards in time and see where it came from as well. So it's all completely transparent. So speed and transparency are those two things that make money laundering on the blockchain not that great, to be honest. You can do it if you like, but it would be at your own peril. Not that it's slowed any crooks down. They still will attempt to do it anyway, right? So now the main crime that I see above all is our investment scams, right? So when you see headlines for certain scams, they can be as simple as something like like Twitter scam, Elon Musk Twitter scam, for example. There was another one of these in the name of Joe Biden. I think another one in Donald Trump's name as well. It doesn't, you put any celebrity's name there, doesn't really matter. Really simple ones like this: send me funds and I'll send funds back to you, type thing. Like another one was, send me 1 Bitcoin, I'll double it, send it back to you in 2 minutes. I don't know why Elon Musk or how he would have time to be doing that, but that is something that's very, very common and very simple, thrown out there just to see if anyone can fall for it, right? Now, the main one I see are these here. So looking to target you individually on different platforms, right? Telegram would be one, WhatsApp, yeah, instant messenger, anything like that, any messaging platform, right? Where you'll see people start advertising for these investment scams. And so these investment scams, I was investigating these outside of crypto as well here. They've been going for years and years and years. It's just the latest flavor of payment. And again, that borderless nature opens up more victims to crook. So it gives them a new avenue to look at, which means they can use that, right? So when it comes to these investment scams, although it's going to have crypto attached to it, you might see a headline that says crypto investment scam strikes again, or, crypto investment scam, crypto investment over and over again. Those scams were already invented, already in place, already operating. They just changed the method of payment. That's all. They changed the method of payment. So things like this. So instead of using crypto prior to this, what I was seeing when I was in the police was things like sports betting algorithms or stock market algorithms. They would cold call you on the phone or send you an email or send you then messages on WhatsApp to say, hey, I've got a website. I've got a special, quantitative analyst from overseas who has figured out an algorithm that can beat the stock market and return you 30% or 40% or 50%, whatever their claim is. And you should come on board. And prior to crypto, they would just send them cash straight from their bank account. That's still happening as well. Nowadays, what they tend to do is move crypto, right? Because they think they can move it fast. And there's still an element of people out there who think that it's anonymous when it really, really isn't. So this is a real common one we see, things like Telegram, things like WhatsApp, and even just on Facebook Messenger as well, right? And they're all, although it might be varied, it's all the same point, right? They are essentially looking to steal your funds. So what they'll do is something like this. They'll set up if I was going to be a crook, I would set up a website. I just cut and paste from some other one I've used before or another crook friend I know. I cut and paste the website of an investment platform. I claim to be some sort of trading expert, and here's my platform. I contact you on WhatsApp. I tell you about how amazing our trades are and how I'm beating the market by 20% per year. You should invest $5,000 with me. You send me $5,000 of crypto to my address, and I generate a account, right? A fake account for you in your name. So congratulations, you're on Rob's trading platform. Here's your account, and here's a link to our website. Here's your account link. You can go in and you can see your profits going up and up and up. And all they will do is when that person logs into their computer screen, looks at their user interface, they're looking at everything they're looking at is fake. It's all just nonsense. It's just generated numbers on a page. It won't actually match. If you go to, say, have a look at the actual market on like Coin Market Cap, Bitcoin might be up 1% or down 10%. But on these people's accounts, they'll be making 10, 20% a day, right? Oh my God, amazing. I'm just getting richer and richer and richer. In reality, they've just stolen your $5,000 and then moved on to the next person. Occasionally, they'll allow you to withdraw some funds first, or if they're really tricky, what they'll tell you to do is they say, don't give me 5,000, just give me 500. I'll show you that I can add 20% to that in the next week. That's how good of a trader I am. So they'll just take your 500, take some other stolen funds they've got, add 20% to your 500 and give it back to you. So a lot of the times I'll see where they've sent a $500 tester, right? And then 500 comes back plus whatever their alleged profit is. Then you'll see the $5,000 go out because they're like, oh, they've just proven to me that he's been able to make me 20% this week. Then the $5,000 goes out. This is how they're approaching you. I cannot stress enough. If anyone cold calls you or reaches out to contact you on any of these platforms, it is almost certainly fake and almost certainly a crook trying to rip you off. Do not get yourself involved or answer any messages that come through directly to you on any of these platforms. It is just, it's not real, right? It's not real. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. It's not real. So just a little bit more on that. So victims often targeted through social networking. We see it on, so WhatsApp's a big one, Telegram, yeah, instant messenger, like Facebook Messenger, sorry, all those sorts of platforms. Any online platform, really. Dating websites is also another huge one. And you'll also get the classic misdialed phone calls even, or just a text message, depending on what country you're into. A text message of, oh, hey, I've got your 30% ready. And you go, hey, sorry, wrong number. And they go, oh, sorry, I was just looking to return funds to whoever. Oh, anyway, well, I've got you. I've got this amazing trading platform set up. You should absolutely jump on board. After gaining the trust of that victims, what they'll generally get you to do is what I was saying before, right? They'll direct you to your, after they've sort of wind and dined you a little bit through some messages, they'll direct you to some sort of cryptocurrency investment platform. They are almost always entirely fake. It's just a web page that you're looking at. Don't ever trust what's on your screen in front of you that you're looking at, right? It's just a user interface. Anyone can do anything behind that, all right? Sometimes I'll even get co-conspirators to pose as investment advisors. I just see that constantly. You'll get a group of them working together. So I'll be like, don't trust me. Here, reach out to one of our customers. This person here will happily tell you about how good we are, right? Or also, likewise, I'll get my co-offender that's offending with me. I'll say, hey, look, I'm the CEO, but I'll get my senior trader to give you a call. He knows the ins and outs of it. He's also just another crook working with me. He's my best friend. We've had this set up for a while now. Their web pages will look pretty good. If they know what they're doing, it'll be very legitimate looking. They'll have numbers everywhere, flash stuff, lots of colors, graphs, the whole 9 yards. It's just all fake, right? That stuff is not that hard to generate, right? Don't believe everything that's in front of you on that screen, okay? So sometimes you'll also see really high-end ones as well, is actually malicious smart contracts accessed through cryptocurrency wallet software. So sometimes they might direct you straight to an investment platform. Other times, be very wary of anything else you're downloading or anything in and around any software, right? Make sure you're getting it from a legitimate source. So do your research. Make sure you get, if you're downloading a wallet, you're trying to sign up to an exchange, anything like that, make sure you've got the correct URL, right? Make sure you have the correct site that you're on and the correct software if you've downloaded something. This space can be littered with these sorts of bad actors. So definitely keep a lookout for that. And this is what I spoke about before. So once victims make an initial investment, the platform will show you on your account, but look at my account, Rob. I'm making 20% a week, Rob. You got to see that. What do you mean it's fake? I'm making 20%. Look, it's here. It's right here on my website. It's in my account. I logged in. I have a username and everything. I'm like, that's great, mate. But unfortunately, that username is just logging you into a page where I saw one here in Australia where we seized their website. The back end of their website, they would just sit in their office and manually change. They were just looking at the back end of the website on the server, and they would change the output, right? They'd be like, yeah, add 2% today, add 3%, add 10% to whatever crypto was in your, portfolio. There is no portfolio. It's just numbers and images on a page. They've actually taken your hard-earned money and just stolen it. They've just stolen it in a really complex manner, right? Again, if they're doing the long game, they'll allow you to withdraw a bit of money. Hey, just don't trust me with 5,000. Give me the 500. Here, look at these initial gains I just gave you. And then back it comes, right? Once you'll then see after that is what generally happens, what I see in a lot of these reports is initially I was able to withdraw. So then I invested more. And then I saw gains and I invested more and I invested more. And then 6 months later, 12 months later, then I tried to withdraw some of these enormous gains that I have on paper. And then all of a sudden, it's a ghost town and there's nobody there responding, right? So that's how these scammers are going to work for you. So if you have been scammed, the second bonus scam I want you to look out for is this. Don't ever trust anybody advertising themselves as a fund recovery agent or company or anything like that. This is almost, I've seen this on repeat as well. So some poor person will be scammed out of their money. Then in an effort to try and recover that money, they'll start Googling, how do I get my crypto back? And then you'll see things like this start popping up, right? Like, talk to my friend Rob. He's really good at cryptocurrency tracing. He's got a company. He can recover it for you, right? He also has a really nice looking website where he claims that he works with law enforcement all over the world and he's helped to recover all these people's funds. I work in this space and I can tell you it's very, very rare that anybody recovers their funds. Unfortunately, I've had the pleasure of returning some funds over the last 12 months, and I'm working on 2 jobs at the moment that will see funds be returned to some victims, but it's very, very hard to do. You have to be very, very quick and very, very on the ball, right? So whilst it's possible, it's very hard to do. And these people that are advertising to be able to recover your funds, almost certainly crooks again. I will caveat and say, there are some companies that do this for a living. They're almost like a private investigations companies. There are some of them. They are legitimate. how good they are and how competent they are is negligible, right? So I see reports all the time as well. They try and contact us directly, or they will go to law enforcement, and then law enforcement will come to me. So any exchange in the world, whatever is said to you, no exchange will cooperate with a private citizen in terms of fund recovery. We only deal with law enforcement, right? Because only law enforcement has the capacity to compel people to receive that information. So we're a registered exchange, just like every other registered exchange. They can come to us, issue a subpoena or a search warrant, and recover that information legally to then be presented in court, right? Any private citizen, even private investigation company, they have no realm of doing that. So companies don't deal with them. So be very, very wary. If you are unfortunately hacked or do lose some funds, always be wary of that, right? The bonus scam, the fake recovery agent. So very quickly, prevention's always better, right, than trying to recover afterwards, although that's what I do for work. So please, 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 for any investment scam, anything you do, it doesn't have to be crypto, anything you do moving here forward. If you have an offer that sounds too good to be true, that's because it's too good to be true. All right. So nobody, if I always use Warren Buffett as an example, even though he hates cryptocurrency, if he says he can't get more than 10% a year on his returns and he's supposed to be the best investor in the world, nobody else is going to do better. All right. Anyone that's going to offer you 20, 30, 40, 50% for the year, if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. All right. Unfortunately, any unsolicited message that comes to you, delete it. Right. I don't even answer my phone for a phone number I don't know anymore. It's just because it's just too prevalent. Right. So if it's an unsolicited message, just don't answer, please. And especially never click on a link. Again, I would delete the message, even if it's, I don't know the source, I just delete it. So especially a link, don't ever click on that. For some of your technical controls, when it comes to crypto, although I work at an exchange, you know, if you believe in crypto and what it's supposed to stand for, I would always advise you to self-custody your own crypto, right? That's the whole point of cryptocurrency. If you have it, keep it yourself. So download secure wallet software or use a offline wallet like a Ledger or a Trezor, something like that. Keep your crypto with you and secure, right? And if you're doing that, make sure you secure your seed phrase. If you do those two things, you self-custody, secure your seed phrase, which is how you generate a wallet for your Bitcoin or for any crypto. If you do those two things, your crypto is safe, right? Like I said earlier, no address has ever been breached. So if you have your seed phrase secured, your wallet with you, it's safe. All right. So tick those two technical controls. And just to make sure, use a password manager. That's just a general bit of advice for anything else you do cyber related. There's so many platforms now. I can't keep track of my password. I've been using a password manager for years. It's the only way to do it, to really keep your passwords strong enough and split, right? When I say use a password manager, it's also because don't reuse your passwords, especially in and around anything to do with crypto, addresses, exchange accounts, anything like that. If someone has access to your password for emails and exchange accounts, your funds are going to be taken. All right. So be very careful around that too. So challenges. So challenges. I'll just wrap this up. So I'm going to do a quick little case study with you, and then I can answer any questions you've got too. So general challenges we see in this crypto space, right? There's things I touched on before. So funds move quickly, and crypto knows no borders, right? Two great things for crypto, and then can be bad things when it comes to criminal actors as well, or bad actors. They're going to look to exploit those two things, right? Also, when I say crypto knows no borders, we talk about jurisdictional issues as well, especially with fund recovery or law enforcement investigating any matters. It's a 20th century legal framework for a 21st century problem, right? We're trying to retrofit things, which is what you see now in the crypto space when people are talking about regulations and laws and regulations across the globe, right? It's definitely a battle for speed, trying to catch up with crypto because it is moving so quickly. And then after that is your lack of understanding of the technology, right, is an issue too. So like I was doing a lot of educational pieces for Chainalysis. Now, where I work now is I still do education for law enforcement that we offer up for free. And that's a huge thing, right? Trying to share that knowledge and that understanding, right, to try and increase the investigators' knowledge so they can hopefully prevent things as well. But if the worst does happen, they can then recover things. And of course, the last big challenge we're seeing at the moment is lack of resources too, especially if it's a government department, unfortunately. Blockchain analysis tools are expensive. I'll show you a quick screen grab in a second. And if I've got time, I can show you a live example, even if you like, of one of the tools I use, which is called Chainalysis Reactor, which is basically a piece of software, just tracks and traces cryptocurrency, something I use all the time. So this here, first quick case study while apologies for talking fast. I'm just trying to make sure I keep everyone in the time. So a quick little case study. So this is from something that I would do back in law enforcement, right? So, and it's to do with, it's probably something that crypto was definitely involved, especially early on in the piece, and that's in and around darknet marketplaces. All right. So this is a screen grab from a piece of software called Chainalysis Reactor. So it's how you can graph out and track and trace crypto. I can click on each one of those circles, they're called clusters. I can click on each one of those lines, they're transactional relationship lines. I can see every single transaction that has moved between any of those addresses that are linked there. What you'll see there, more importantly, with this sort of software is on the far right-hand side, it says bittrex.com, right? So a known registered exchange. And down the bottom, you'll see Hydra Marketplace, which was the world's, at a point in time, was the world's biggest darknet market, right? So darknet markets, if you haven't seen, so it's basically just a black market for crooks online. So you can find anything on there. Some of them are pretty horrible. So the main thing you'll see, drugs, firearms, things like that, right? Anything of an illegal source. Drugs is the big thing. So, which is exactly what we were looking at here with this particular case. So if I am a criminal and I have an account on Hydra Marketplace, think of it like eBay, right? Or like something like that, Facebook Marketplace. I'm selling my drugs on Hydra Marketplace. Now, how I'm going to receive funds is I'm going to receive funds in Bitcoin, which is what this is just here. Now, if I am looking at that from a criminal's point of view, and this is really simplistic view, this particular person was pretty simple with how he did things. If I'm selling my goods, my illicit drugs on Hydra Marketplace, I need to receive funds. I'll just bring up my cursor. So now, when I want to retrieve my funds from, you're a purchaser, you log into the website, you buy my drugs, you send me Bitcoin. Now, you send Bitcoin to Hydra Marketplace, right? That's your first protocol. Then, as a vendor on there, I would withdraw my funds to my address, which is this red line up here. That is our crook's private wallet address, right? So if I'm the crook, that's my address. If I then, like I said, crypto is great, but how do I spend it, right? Depending on where you are in the world. So a really traditional thing is for crooks to try and flip that crypto into fiat currency, which is exactly what happened here. I take my private wallet address, I forward my Bitcoin onto an exchange, and I try and convert my Bitcoin into cash, right? Which is exactly what this person was doing. Now, as law enforcement, how they might approach something like that is the first thing I can do as law enforcement, I can work under a controlled operation and I can purchase those drugs, right? And be protected, right? It's not illegal to purchase it if I'm doing it as a part of an investigation. So what I would do is I would create an account, log into Hydra Marketplace, and buy my drugs off this particular vendor. Now, if I'm buying off the marketplace by clicking the links in the marketplace, my funds, say if this is me here as a police officer, back when I was a detective, my funds would have a line going to Hydra Marketplace. What I would do instead is I would do my first 2 or 3 small buys that way. Then I would send the vendor a message. Hey, man, I really liked the Coke I got last weekend. It was fantastic. But I hate the fees on this marketplace. And I know they charge you guys fees too. That's terrible. I think, man, I trust you now. I've bought your product. I'd really like to just deal with you directly. If we can do that, can we do that? And he'll say, I say, man, it saves me fees, saves you fees, win-win, right? He says, absolutely. I'll deal you some, just send me a direct message on a secure platform. So we try and drag that criminal off the Hydra Marketplace and onto another platform that we can discuss, right? Into a chat room or some sort of messaging platform that we can record. And I'll record my conversation with him. And I'll say, hey, man, yeah, I just want to buy some more gear off you. No problem. So this time, instead of purchasing drugs off Hydra Marketplace, now I'm going to purchase directly off my vendor, off my drug dealer. My funds on this blue line are going to go straight to his private wallet address, right? Because now he's receiving the funds directly. So now I've confirmed, yep, that is in fact the guy that I've been speaking to. He's not going to give me an address that isn't his. So I'm going to be sending my funds to him. We've purchased drugs. We receive the drugs. We do a bit of analysis on it. But my goal now, if I can map this out on a bit of software, is I want to try and identify this guy. Remember, I said we always want to see the source and destination. I know the source. I sent it to him. I am the source. It's now gone to his private wallet address. Now, what does he do with it? I can use this tool to watch his transactions. I can watch him move his Bitcoin to a registered exchange, bittrex.com. And then I can watch him. Well, I won't be able to watch, but what he will be doing at Bittrex is he'll be converting his Bitcoin into cash or potentially moving it on out to another private wallet or something. He might just be using Bittrex as another, what we call a hop in the chain. But what I can do as law enforcement is I can send a subpoena or a search warrant to Bittrex to say, hey, look, I've seen this transaction. I want to know everything you know about your customer. They hold, same as we do, we hold KYC, know your customer information. I can garner all of my information off that particular customer, have a look at his transactions, and I will get copies of his identification. Thanks very much. I now know who he is, which is exactly what we did here. I now know who my crook is. I don't just know who he is. I have a copy of his driver's license and or passport. I have his home address that's been verified. I can then confirm that or match that to my own intelligence holdings. And then what we did do in this particular case was execute a search warrant at his home address. Thanks very much. I have my digital evidence being from this particular screen grab here. I've also bought drugs off you that I've got back at the office, and we'll have that analyzed. And I can also now do a physical search warrant, look to locate more drugs, look to locate more evidence, locate his Bitcoin wallets, all that sort of stuff. So that is a very, very quick, simple investigation that I would have conducted back in my policing days. So I've gone a little bit over the presentation time. I only left with a few sort of minutes here. If there's any extra time, I could jump on and show you sort of some real life stuff with that particular tool, but I think we're probably out of time. So, but I can throw out to a few questions if you've got any. I know that was a little bit rushed. It was pretty short. So I can see in the chat there's a couple of things. So if anybody's got any messages or any questions that you want to ask, please feel free. So yeah, cool. So there's a couple of questions in there. So what's Binance doing to protect retail users from scams? Yeah, awesome. So if you're even if you're not a Binance user, so if you head over to our website, we've got what's called a Binance Academy. So we've dedicated now and set up a whole academy that basically has is exactly what you're talking about. So raising awareness for users, and you don't even have to be a user to see it. You can log in without being a Binance user. It's for the whole community. So we have a whole series on scam prevention, how to secure your Bitcoin, how to not open yourself up for those sorts of things. So I would say in terms of what we're doing now, and yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your friend too. It happens a lot. So send any family members, friends, anything like that, direct them to our website. So Binance Academy. They'll be able to search free resources there to have a look at how to prevent themselves from being scammed. Yeah, it's a really good, easy resource that we're providing. And what if you just so if I just give the crook $500 and let them give me 20% back, yeah, you could. I mean, nothing. I'm not stopping you. Like, there's nothing. There's nothing stopping you, or nothing illegal about that. And then you take your extra 20% from your $500 and run off. You could. Yeah, nothing stopping you. I like the way you're thinking. And
I
someone,
actually have a question.
yeah,
Um,
sure.
so I mean, recently there have been some larger institutional like players, like exchanges such as FTX, and we have Luna. And one thing I noted about Luna is that there was actually one investment analyst that said that um, I think she had called out the algo stablecoin death spiral like a couple
Mm,
of months before it actually happened.
mm.
And I was just wondering if you are like sort of working with people who look at the investment, who look at the white papers, and they're like, okay, this is actually something that's not feasible. It's not something that's good for retail and institutional
Mm.
other institutional players. And are you working with that to have a sort of preemptive, um, uh, tackling of the problem of people like that? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You raise a really good point. Yeah. So when it comes to that sort of stuff, which probably it can lead to things like rug pulls and things like that as well. So before an exchange, not just Binance, but any exchange, if they're registered and a legitimate exchange, which a lot are, including us, what we'll do is we have analysts that will review, say a particular coin wants to get listed on our exchange or any exchange. They have to go through a process of approval. So it's almost like akin to having your business launched on, say, the S&P 500 on a stock exchange, for example. A little bit different because generally with those, you just have to have an IPO. Once you launch, you can launch. But with a coin or any kind of crypto token, for it to be listed, anyone can create a crypto token. I've seen one created as fast as 15 to 20 minutes on Ethereum networks, but that particular token will just not really be usable, right? Like, you can't really trade it for anything, you can't exchange it for anything. So what they'll try and do is do what you're talking about there and get their coin or token listed on an exchange, right? A legit exchange. The bigger, the better. So we have, yeah, a section of individuals called our risk team. So what they'll do is they'll take, before we onboard a coin or a token, they'll go through, look at the white paper, look at the development team, and then actually interact with them. So messages back and forward, asking, do transactions back and forward, all that sort of thing to see exactly how their project works, and not just see how it works by asking them, but actually see how it works by participating in it. So jump on their network, actually move coins around, move currencies, see if it does what it says it's going to do before we list that coin on our platform. Yeah, so that's generally what we'll do. So we have a whole risk team that'll do that. Same as any other large exchange, they should technically be doing the same. Now, depending on the coin as well, is they'll also potentially, usually there'll be, once it's listed on an exchange, I always lend on the cautious side, right? Just because it's on an exchange doesn't mean that it's 100% perfect. But at least if you know it's on a registered exchange being advertised, like say any of the major exchanges, Coinbase, Binance, any of the bigger exchanges, any of them, Poloniex, whatever it might be, if it's listed on them, it's at least been through a risk team. So someone has at least interacted with it and seen that it actually exists and it does what it does. As opposed to when you see those other ones where it's like a rug pull, with the except, so I would say the biggest one that actually ever made it to an exchange is probably the one you're talking about, that Luna. That's probably the biggest one I've seen that was actually on an exchange, right? That particular one. So, which was missed by basically everyone except that one analyst, whoever that person was. That's the biggest one I've seen. But yeah, any coin that wants to get listed has to go through that approval process and go through a whole risk analysis process with us. Yeah.
Right. Thanks for answering my question. That
Yeah,
was
yeah, no
really
worries, man.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. Yeah, there's a thousand things you could ask too. So there's, yeah, I could expand this out all day if we had time. Yeah. What's
So
left?
sorry, but I think we are out of
Time
time.
limit? Yeah, yeah. No, no problem at all. Sorry, I can't answer any more of those questions. It's all good. So thanks very much for having me. It's been a pleasure to meet everybody and just share a little bit about what we do here and how we sort of go about our work. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Yep. Is there a an email? Is okay, just sharing an email. Is that
Yeah.
available for people to drop questions to you as well?
Yeah, yeah. If there's anything, if someone's got a question, that top one, that's me. So robert.t@binance.com. If you've got any questions or something like that, you can flick me an email to that particular email. The other one, investigations at Binance, is more for that's our investigations group, right? So anything major investigations and stuff like that. So, but anything for me, yeah, feel free. If you need to reach out for something, that's my email just there, that top one.
Okay, wait, sorry. Let's. I think we have a little bit of enough time to answer to House question.
Yeah.
So, do you think the inscription and meme coin trend opened up opportunity for more rug pull?
Yeah, yep. Yep, yes. It definitely did. Meme coins definitely did. The whole Squid Game thing from like what 18 months, 2 years ago, like was I saw that whole thing just happen from start to finish. And I thought, well, like what like I'm not a trader or anything like that, right? But obviously to track and trace, you have to understand how sort of things work. Yeah, meme coins, sorry. I know there's a whole thing there where people trade them and make money, and there's been some successes. But for me, they don't do anything. They're just it's a meme. There's no point. I don't like for me, I can't wrap my head around that one. I can wrap my head around Bitcoin. I really like it. I can wrap my head around Ethereum, Solana, like all of those sort of major layer ones and even some layer twos. But yeah, meme coins, absolutely. They did open up the trend for more rug pulls. Yep. Definitely.
All right, so I think that's all the time that we have today. So thank you so much, Mr. Thompson, for your insightful presentation, and
Yeah,
thank
no
you to
worries.
everyone for participating.
No problem. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you. Our next session will be by Taka Labs at 4 p.m. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you then.